Direct and indirect pulp capping, employing various materials and clinical protocols, have been used for many years to preserve the health and vitality of the pulp complex and induce pulp cells to form hard tissue, which is your reparative or tertiary dentine. Direct pulp capping, as the name suggests, is when the pulp is vital and is visibly exposed. You, as a dentist, placing a medicament or a non medicated material on the exposed pulp is direct pulp capping. The exposure could be due to fracture or even due to mechanical exposures during routine caries removal. Indirect pulp capping, on the other hand, is used in deep cavity preparations, with or without caries remaining, that are in close proximity to the pulp but there is no pulpal exposure. We usually remove all the carious dentine before the placement of a restoration. However, in cases where the complete removal of the softened carious dentine may result in pulp exposure, the deepest layer may be intentionally left behind and protected with an indirect pulp capping agent. In this video, let's focus completely on indirect pulp capping. So considering this example wherein the carious process is quite deep and radiographically you are able to see that it's quite close to the pulp, you can go for indirect pulp capping. Your objective of doing this is to arrest the carious process, promote dentine sclerosis, stimulate formation of tertiary dentine, and remineralize the carious dentine. Wait, what? Remineralize the carious dentine? How is that even possible? You need to go back to your basics here. We must remember that the carious dentine consists of two distinct layers. You have an outer and an inner layer. The outer layer is irreversibly denatured, infected, non-remineralizable, and therefore should be removed. It is teeming with bacteria, necrotic, soft, and not painful to remove. The inner layer, however, is just reversibly denatured, not infected, remineralizable, and therefore can be preserved. This layer consists of minimal amount of bacteria, is hard and discolored, and is also painful to instrumentation. And this is actually the rationale behind indirect pulp capping. So let's now understand the treatment procedure. Firstly, you will administer local anesthesia and isolate the tooth using a rubber dam. Next, you remove all the undermined enamel using a high-speed handpiece and excavate the soft carious dentine, that is your infected dentine. Stop the excavation as soon as the firm resistance of sound dentine is felt. Apply a liner of calcium hydroxide over this deepest layer of demineralized dentine. Remainder of the cavity is filled with zinc oxide eugenol cement or reinforced glass ionomer cement. The second appointment is given after 6 to 8 weeks. You must make sure to check that between the appointment, the history is negative and temporary restoration is intact. If a reparative dentine bridge is formed, which you can evaluate clinically and radiographically, you can go in for a full coverage restoration. However, if there is some amount of caries on re-entry, you need to carefully remove the caries, which will have become dried out, flaky, and it can be easily removed. The cavity preparation is then washed out, dried gently, covered with calcium hydroxide, built with zinc oxide eugenol or GIC, and the final restoration is placed. Still, irrespective of all advances that are taking place in this field, dentine itself will continue to stand tall as the best insulator for pulp, which is why it is better to conserve the remaining sound tooth structure rather than replace the lost structure with an artificial material. Thus, remaining dentine thickness from the depth of the cavity preparation to the pulp is the single most important factor in deciding the best method of pulp protection.